USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Introducing the new Volvo XC90 with 7-seat versatility, Google built-in, and advanced safety features for all your precious cargo. The new Volvo XC90, designed for life. Visit volvocars.com/US to learn more.
This MailChimp-verific jingle is brought to you by MailChimp.
MailChimp, your marketing with AI and more. Advanced automations to connect to your store. MailChimp, your marketing and boost your clicks. Multi-channel campaigns now with SMS. That's lit.
MailChimp your marketing today with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-on. Visit MailChimp.com.
Logic dictates that when swimming, if sharks appear, one should quickly get out of the water. But we're talking Sharknado. So when sharks appear, one should quickly grab a beverage, some snacks, and a spot on the couch because you're going to be ambushed by an onslaught of bad puns, worse CGI, and a whole lot of fun. Our Sharkfest continues as we attempt to prove that Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens, is not that bad. Welcome, one and all to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades in B movies, and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Hello to all of our listeners in Maple, Ontario, and around the world. How are you guys doing? All right, our Sharkfest continues as we deal with the fourth entry into this franchise, Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. And here to join me, my lovely, not cyborg, not android kind of wife, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm good, but wouldn't it be cool if you could plug me in? Also, if I could run as fast, oh my gosh, and if I could tow a truck.
Right?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. I know you. I've met you. And I know how bad you are for plugging your phone in.
Yeah.
So I just know that if you were kind of cyborg androided out like Tara Reid is in this film, spoilers like a mofo, you would basically let yourself run near to the bottom, and then I would have to grab an emergency charger and plug you in.
But to have that backup power source would be kind of awesome. And some days the coffee just ain't cutting it.
What am I supposed to do? Basically, charge my phone off of you?
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome, actually. Why am I fighting this? Why is this not happening already? Okay, so we are tackling Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. Now, if you listened to our show last week when we covered Sharknado 3, we had mentioned during that show that we had not seen movies 1 or 2. Well, we corrected that situation in a hurry because a lot of times we're sitting there going, well, who the hell is this person? Who the hell is this person? We know everything now. We have the full backstory. We watched 1 and then 2. Actually, we watched 4 and then 1 and then 2 and then 4 again. There's something wrong with us.
Not at all. No, we've watched this in the perfect, Star
Warsian kind of order.
Tarantino type, front to back to front order. And you know what? I believe that I have to take the credit for doubling back to rewinding, if you will, and going back to episode 1, mainly because I wanted to know that backstory. I had to know about the side piece. I had to know their involvement,
their backstory. Yeah.
I had many questions.
Well, now we have all those questions answered, but now we're going to ask a lot more questions because we're about to tackle the fourth entry. But before we do, it is time to take Sharknado 4 and trailerize it.
It's been 5 years since a Sharknado has terrorized humanity. But only 1 year since Star Wars Awakened, so bring on the puns aplenty. Ian Ziering is back as Finn Shepard. This time, with a new kid, a new old kid, and a cousin that looks like one we met before but isn't. It's confusing, I know. Just pretend that it's the Shark and the Furious and everyone is family. But if the amount of family members is throwing you off, wait till you see how many different Sharknados there are. Bouldernados, Lightningnados, Lasernados, Nukenados. It's so bad that one of those is fake, but this movie is so bonkers you believed it anyways. Throw in a cavalcade of cameos that make you question who has pictures of them, a Gary Busey sighting which is more rare than finding Sasquatch, and Tara Reid getting robot upgrades like she's a Cyberman. For once, David Hasselhoff is the most sane thing in the film, and that's a frightening prospect. It's time to embrace the NATO in Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. Rated TV 14 for terror in Vegas.
Oh, love it.
You were waiting all day for that, weren't you?
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, let's get into who is in this movie. The movie stars Ian Ziering, Tara Reid, Tommy Davidson, Maciela Lucia, Ryan Newman, Cody Lindley, David Hasselhoff, Gary Busey, Cheryl Tiggs, and Amani A. Hakim. And as with any Sharknado film, there are cameos aplenty, including Jillian Barbary, Stacey Dash, David Faustino, Steve Guttenberg, Daniel Logan, Carrot Top, Corey Taylor, Seth Rollins. This sounds like the most screwed up party ever. Dr. Drew Pinsky, Wayne Newton, Jenna Lee Nolan, Alexandra Paul, Paul Schaefer, Vince Neil, and of course, Gilbert Gottfried. We do have an actor change in this. Cody Lindley plays the son, Matt. He replaces Charles Hittinger, who played Matt Shepard in the very first Sharknado. The movie had a $3 million budget, but it went straight to sci-fi and has no box office whatsoever. But it does have accolades. At the 2016 Blood Guts UK Horror Awards, it was nominated for Best Prequel, Sequel, or Remake, but lost to Ouija, The Origin of Evil. And the reason why we are here, though, and not just because we are working up to Shark Week, are the critics. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a tomatometer of 14%, the lowest tomatometer of all Sharknados.
Now, is that all, including all six?
All six. This is the lowest.
Wow.
With a popcorn meter of 25%. Over at IMDb, it has a score of 3.9 stars out of 10. At Letterboxd, it sits at 1.9 stars out of 5 for a 38% score. Over at Metacritic, it sits at 35%, and at the Movie Database at 45 for an aggregate of 32.6%. So, I'm going to ask you right off the bat, because we've watched all 6 movies now. We know what we're talking about for once. 14%, in your opinion, is this the worst Sharknado that ever Sharknadoed?
Can I counter your question with a question?
You may.
What the hell is wrong with me? This was my absolute favorite of all of the Sharknado movies. And I can say that quite honestly, having seen, not in that particular order, but having seen all 6, starting at 4, and we watched up to 6, like in a marathon type style. And then we watched 4 again. And then we went back and watched 1 and 2. We had already done and talked about 3. So that was pretty much our order. But, you know, you always remember your first love.
Yep.
And coming back to this movie and first starting with this movie and circling back to it, I freaking love this movie. It is my favorite. I don't understand. I was going to ask you actually how the 4th movie qualifies and 1 and 2 didn't, first of all, but of all of them, I love this movie. It's almost like it's 2 movies. And when we tuned in, we had caught it from the middle.
Yeah, like we when we started, it was like, tail end of Sharknado 4. Well, there's nothing else on TV. Let's watch it, because why not?
Right. But interesting about that is that we tuned in when he met up with April. So I had no idea.
So many questions.
Of the first part of the movie in Vegas. Like, it was almost like this movie was made in Vegas and in Niagara Falls. There's two different movies happening, but they marry it together somehow.
Two of the biggest
seamlessly.
Tourist traps in North America. And yes, they went to both in the same damn film.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the breakdown of this film. We, of course, start with Ian Ziering, who played Finn Shepard. Your thoughts on him in this installment?
I would say, like a fine wine, he gets better with each movie.
You know what's funny? You're not wrong. So now that we went back and we watched the first two. So the first one, and he even admits, like, he took the first one because he needed like the health coverage because of the way the Actors Guild works, right? You have to be a working actor to get your health benefits. And then it turned into this thing. And and this is coming from an interview that he did. So these are his own words. Like, and then it just got more fun along the way. This is where I think in the franchise where he just really leaned into the fun. He seemed like he was having the most fun of any of the films in this movie.
Can I just say, though, is he like a shark magnet? Because it seems that every time this poor man tries to go away on vacation, family vacation, tries to go to Vegas to celebrate his son's wedding, it doesn't matter where he goes in the world, the sharks follow.
This feels like a Hollywood Undead song. Everywhere he goes, sharks are sure to go. The wind is wet and people die. The wind, it starts to blow.
Shark.
NATO. Right now, Hollywood Undead is writing an email going, never do that again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Cease and desist.
Also, Hollywood Undead, you rock. But anyways, let's get back to this here, right? This is, and I need to put this out here, right? The fourth installment really leans into the camp of what the franchise became, because the first movie felt like your typical kind of asylum kind of film. And it took on a life of its own. And then they kind of leaned into a little bit. Number 2, 3, they were like, no, we know what we're doing now. We're going to mess things up. And it's got more and more and more. Here's where you can tell he's having fun. And I'm going to draw the weirdest comparison, but bear with me here. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Patrick Stewart said that during that first season, he wasn't having any fun doing the show because he was a stage actor, right? He was a serious actor, and he felt that everyone should be serious around him because it was so, like, he was used to doing serious parts. And of course, like, everyone else is having a good time around him kind of thing. They're just, goofing off. And he didn't have fun. He didn't feel like he was fitting in with the cast and the crew because he was so focused on doing a serious job. And then he eventually learned that everyone else was right, and he started to loosen up a little bit and have fun with it. And then you could see the gelling of the captain into the rest of the crew as the series went on.
That's hilarious, because he had that very self-aware television sitcom where he was just having so much fun.
Oh, I know.
What was it called? He had that dog and...
Blunt Talk, where he played Walter Blunt for like 20 episodes. Like, it was like 2 seasons or something like that. It was a great show. It was a fun as hell show. But yeah, this is, and even William Shatner, when he kind of got into the just having fun with the whole persona thing, this is Ian Ziering's Shatner moment. This is where he just enjoys the ride. Because really, how often can an actor say that they took a role on a lark for whatever reason they took the role, and then for some reason society was like, this is awesome, and it went on, and you did not expect it at all, right? How many times do you take a role and then all of a sudden become pop culture?
I think there's something to be said too about it's so bad, finger quotations when I say bad, that it's good.
Yes.
Right? It's like it's such an out there ridiculous idea. That's great. What time?
Yes.
You know?
This feels like Sharknado 4 is the point in the franchise where it starts to feel like the world's greatest inside joke. And if you get it, you are laughing along with every single thing and you're having a good time. If you don't get it, you're just not going to understand it. And I think this is the bit where Ian Ziering just leaned right into it and just soaked in the moment. This is arguably his best Sharknado performance.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about movies in general, right? You want to put your brain on, on pause from reality. And the more ridiculous that it gets, like, it's almost like when you're watching Sharknado, you're almost like, I don't even know how we got here, but here we are, and where are we going next? Because the movies just take you on such a ridiculous ride. Like, the idea of sharks coming from outer space, and they've been gone for 5 years. Well, what were the sharks doing for 5 years? We don't know, but they're back because...
Just in time for Finn Shepard to show up in Vegas.
Exactly, because Finn is trying to live his life, and here we are, and the sharks are back causing trouble. And just everybody at this point is just accepting of it. Yeah. Right? It's like the news anchors are like, well, here we go again.
But no, I really enjoyed him in this. And I think it's, there's a moment where you just realize where it's like, yeah, he gets it now. And he's embracing the moment in the most unlikely of franchises. And I love it.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I've been on hold to make a doctor's appointment for 23 minutes now. The automated voice has told me 47 times that my call is very important to them. I'm starting to think that they don't think my call is important at all.
With Amazon One Medical 24/7 virtual care, you'll get help fast without having to remain on the line to make an appointment. Amazon One Medical. Healthcare just got less painful.
Have you ever spotted McDonald's hot, crispy fries right as they're being scooped into the carton? And time just stands still. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Maciela Lucia, who played Gemini, this is apparently Finn's cousin. Now, at the very beginning of this film, she's there at the ranch and she's got the glasses on and like a nice flowery kind of dress. They made her look a lot like Maura Brady, who was actually in the second Sharknado film playing Finn's cousin. So I don't know if they just kind of gave her a new name or whatnot, because they did kind of have Maciela look like Maura Brady in that film. And then of course she takes the glasses off, puts the hair down, puts on the outfit that she wears, and then off to the races she goes. Your thoughts on her?
I thought she was great. I mean, definitely, it was, at first I was like, who is she supposed to be? But eventually it made sense. And the fact that she had like this logo on the back of her jacket, and I was so trying to figure out, like,
what was it? Yeah.
Does it mean something? Is it,
Does anything in these movies mean something? But like, okay, I get it. They made her look like Courtney Baxter, the actress who played Maura Brady, to start with. Did they have to make her look so much like Nova? Tell me I'm wrong. It's like all of a sudden it's like, well, Nova's not in this film, but someone's got to wear this wardrobe. That's basically what it felt like.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, maybe I missed something, but where was Nova?
Okay, so they had mentioned that Nova was in France doing something. So at the very end of the film, when the Eiffel Tower gets NATO'd over to Niagara Falls.
Yes.
And she stands up, and the very last thing is Finn going, Nova?
Well, right. But again, it's kind of like she was off, training for special ops or whatever, right? Because she comes back with an
Eiffel Tower
force and an Eiffel Tower.
And an Eiffel Tower, yeah. But I just find it interesting. It's like all of a sudden, out of the blue, this cousin that we've never met.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Like, actors pop in and out of this so often, and half the time I'm like, is this meant to be a cameo, or like, who is this guy? Like, they'll show his brother, and then the family goes away, and then they'll like come back to him. What, 2 movies later? It's like,
right, but with a different actor.
Yeah, and half the time I'm like, who is anyone in this? Really,
we haven't seen your son in 2 damn films, and all of a sudden he looks real different here. Like, come on.
Well, exactly. Like, where did the other son come from? I don't even remember.
Oh no, Matt was in the first film.
In the first film, but again, where was he in the second?
That's the thing. Where was he in the second? Where was he in the third? Next thing you know, all of a sudden he's getting married, and he shows up, and here he is. And Gemini. Who the hell is Gemini? But I mean, I get, like, you have to, and it's interesting because for a big stretch of this film, Finn doesn't have April to work with, right? And normally he would also have Nova to work with. So like, it's almost like you needed someone to be there to be Finn's number 2. Gemini kind of fit the bill. And I mean, I didn't mind her in this.
Yeah, but where'd she get her special ops training? Because she was able to, like, save him from the ground and then fly over in this like parachute thing. Hey, did she pack that to Vegas?
I think that's actually a thing in Vegas. I think that's actually like some kind of like, you go up to the top of this building and you like get to be parachuted-esque kind of down, kind of like the Skywalk at the CN Tower in Toronto. Like, it's just one of those Vegas attraction kind of things. So, if you're going to be in Vegas and you're going to show off the things that are there, why not do it with one of your characters?
Fair, yeah.
Because, I mean, that's kind of like the previous film where they spent all their time at Universal. Because why not? But I mean, I didn't mind her in this, but it almost felt like, and this is nothing against Maciela Lucia in the role, it felt like they had a checkbox that needed to be checked because Cassie Serbo, who plays Nova, is not in this film. We mentioned him earlier. Cody Lindley, who played Matt Shepard, taking over the role from Charles Hittinger in this film. Your thoughts on him?
I thought he was great. Again, just like, hey, I'm going to, get married and jump out of a plane.
Right. Okay. I need to bring this up here. Because the last time we saw Matt Shepard in this franchise, it was in the first film. And it was a little awkward because, they went to go rescue him from whatever this flight school was. And all of a sudden he starts macking right on Nova. And 2 movies later, oh, here's my bride. It's not Nova.
Well, yeah, it was, yeah. But I mean, there was a whole other movie that he wasn't in between.
There were 2 whole movies he wasn't in.
Fair. Yeah, actually. So I mean, time moves on and Nova went to Paris. We don't know why yet, but you know what? Don't try to make sense of it.
No, I need to make sense of this.
Just accept it and have fun.
So you're telling me to embrace the NATO?
Don't overthink it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to get a shirt made that. Embrace the NATO.
That'd be cool, actually.
But I didn't mind him in this. I mean, Charles Hittinger in the first movie wasn't bad in the role. And I get, they are very much kind of, almost knowingly but not knowingly tipping the hat to Fast and the Furious, how everyone's freaking family. And clearly the Shepard clan has now just basically embraced the fact that if your last name is Shepard, you're going to be in the shark fighting business.
But not only that, but I mean, we'll get to it later. Like April's father, crazy scientist who knows Finn's father, and they work together, yet they're also family.
Yeah.
It's like everybody seems to work for this, the company that
Astro X, yes.
works to alleviate the Sharknado.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, if the patriarch of the family is named Finn and they're fighting sharks, and the newest kid is named Gil, and Finn's dad is named Gil, the shark puns just kind of write themselves. Ryan Newman returning in the role as Claudia Shepard, the role that she took over in Sharknado 3. Your thoughts on her in this?
You know what? I really liked her in this one. Like, there's just something about how the actors genuinely seem, that they're having fun, but that they're getting along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is that kind of a bond. And what I wanted to say about the older brother and the younger brother, the 5-year-old at this point.
Little Gil, yeah.
Didn't they look similar?
They did, yeah.
They did look like they could be older, younger brothers. So
No, I mean, I like the fact that they kind of lightened Claudia's hair in this, so now she looks a bit more like April. Because remember, when we were talking about Sharknado 3, like, she looks an awful lot like Nova. What the hell happened, right? No, she actually looks a bit more like April in this movie. And now that we've seen the first 2 films, I need to actually draw the comparison, because now I've seen what Aubrey Peoples did in the first movie with the role, and I like what Ryan Newman does better. I think it's mainly how the character is written, because in the first film, you know, Claudia is very, the family situation is not good. You know, April and Finn are separated. She feels like Finn is not putting the priority on her and wanting her in his life kind of thing. And it became like a very kind of role. And, and that's not on Aubrey Peoples. That's just on the script, because at that point too, keep in mind, the Sharknado was not this goofy comedy in the very first film. They were trying to add some family dramatic tension to the script. So that's what they had to work with. By 3, they already know that they have jumped the shark in Olympic style fashion. So Ryan Newman gets to have fun with the character in a new light.
I think, though, there's something to be said about age, right? Like a moody, I don't know, a moody teenager is going to be a certain way, but then as you know, the young woman grows up and she seems to have a fantastic job working with her grandfather, and she's super smart, but maybe not getting his references, right? I love the whole like Star Trek quote with, I don't want to talk about Star Wars, you know, that whole like, you know, not, I don't know, maybe she never watched it. She's too young.
Book smart, but not life smart. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I like that.
But also good with a shotgun, apparently.
Yes.
Because as every shepherd should be, apparently.
Well, I mean, you know, if your family is getting used to shark attacks, then yeah. If your dad's a shark magnet, then yeah, you get pretty good.
But that's the thing. In the first film, Claudia didn't really do much except for try to provide some kind of emotional B-plot for Finn. Here, and you know, going further into the franchise too, Claudia is part of the shark fighting team. And it's kind of like when they switched to Catherine Newton to play Cassie in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. They were, of course, were going to build up Cassie Lang to be stature, to put her as eventually as part of the Young Avengers. So they needed an actress in order to be able to kind of mix well with the Haley Steinfelds and the Iman Vellani's. Catherine Newton does that and then some. Here, Ryan Newman brings a new dynamic to the Shepard clan, and that works in this case. David Hasselhoff, returning once again as Colonel Gilbert Shepard, probably the sanest person in the entire cast at this point. Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, why is that? I mean,
how is that?
He knew what was going on, but if he worked for the Astro X company, then how did he not know that April was still alive?
Well, clearly April's father is kind of keeping secrets from the rest of the team, but I think he's, you know, the colonel is more focused on like this mech program and doing other things, whereas Wilfred Wexler, April's dad, is more of the tech lab Cody kind of minded people, the kind of people that Claudia would probably more align with, right? This is really, the previous film, Hasselhoff had some fun with it, and it's got a bit of a lark. Here, it's like they tailor-made it, or at least certain scenes for him, especially when they brought in Jenna Lee Nolan and Alexandra Paul from Baywatch, and they were just leaning into the Baywatch puns during that whole section. Like, you could just see like a fun comfort level of knowing exactly that this film is self-referential, self-defacing, and just having fun. It was, yeah. It's kind of like going on Saturday Night Live. You're going to be the butt of some of the jokes, but it's all in good fun. Sharknado is just good fun, and Hasselhoff leans into that. Cheryl Tiggs, who played Ray Shepard, this is Finn's mother, who just kind of sits at the ranch and babysits all day. Your thoughts on her?
She was great. She was just so, holding things down at home until the home blows away. Like the poor lady.
How very Wizard of Oz of her, yes.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Also, how did the house... No, the house did blow away. It was very much a freaking Wizard of Oz moment.
It landed on the evil mayor of...
Stacey Dash, yes.
Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who, as soon as I saw her stockings and shoes, I'm like, tell me a house lands on her.
Oh, you knew. You just knew. Let's be honest. This movie is subtle like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So, you knew it was going to happen. You know what's funny? Obviously, Ray Shepard, the role in this it's very akin to what Bo Derek did in Sharknado 3, right? Bo Derek was there to not necessarily humanize, but to anchor and become the sounding board for April in Sharknado 3. Cheryl Tiggs feels a little bit like a sounding board, but it's more, I think, just to establish the Shepard homestead, I think, and to you're almost putting a character in so you can know that she's looking after little Gil. And rather than just have, Finn run off to Vegas with Gemini to go do whatever. And it's like, who's looking after the kid? Well, mom is looking after the kid. Like it's almost like they literally hired her so people don't sit there and go, who the hell's looking after the kid there, Finn? Because people do that with movies.
Yeah, but okay, let's talk about the little guy. He's like running around with a shark costume on, or if it was a towel, it was so cute. It was like, rawr, he's born into it, right?
Right. Here's the thing. I never really like talking about kid actors because, I don't like to sit there and say, well, this character was bad. Well, no, it's a kid, right? And I think the kid is perfectly fine. It was played by Christopher Schoen and Nicholas Schoen. So they had twins that would basically trade off to do the acting parts. I liked the little parts they gave him. I thought it was cool, right? Lifting out the little mini chainsaw like it's freaking Excalibur, like that was hilarious. There was the line just as Finn's leaving for Vegas, like, don't get arrested. Like, okay, these are fun. These are fun. Imani A. Hakim, who played Gabrielle, this is Matt's wife, here for a good time, not for a long time. Spoilers, but your thoughts on her?
Well, I thought she was great, but I would have liked to have seen at least a wedding announcement or a proposal or some kind of backstory. It's like...
You're just upset you weren't invited.
Literally. Literally, they're on the phone or the radio of like, well, where are you now? And it's like, oh, he's getting married above Vegas in a plane and gonna jump out. Like, clearly... she's a fun-loving, crazy enough to marry into this shark family.
Yeah, and you recognize that like by this point in like the Sharknado world, his last name is Shepard. She knows exactly who she's marrying. Hell, Finn was at the White House in the previous film, getting awarded for his work in New York. And the thing is, Matt has like no reaction to his wife getting killed by sharks.
Yeah, you probably have to guess it's not going to end well, but, you at least have a fighting chance.
Yeah. She didn't.
No.
I mean, she was okay. She was there literally to, I guess, give reason for Matt to return. So it's okay. Gary Busey, who played Wilford Wexler, your thoughts on him and his first entrance into the franchise?
Absolutely perfectly crazy, and I was totally for it.
Yeah. You remember how when we talked about last week, and we talked about Sharknado 3, and we were talking about Hasselhoff, and, he was at that stage where, like, he shows up and you can point to the screen and go, look, it's him.
Yes, but he's a filthy liar.
He's a filthy liar in the movie.
In the movie.
Wilford Wexler is a filthy liar.
Yes.
Right.
But 5 years, that's a long time to keep, like, your daughter away from, or like the secret of your daughter being alive, rebuilt.
Why does this feel like that moment in WandaVision when Wanda finds out what they've been doing to Vision? Yeah. I can't believe so far I have drawn comparisons to Star Trek and the MCU with Sharknado. I don't know what am I doing anymore here. I have jumped the shark in all of my comparables, and yet here we are. But yeah, it's Gary Busey, and you sit there and go, holy crap, it's Gary Busey. And that kind of is the whole reason of it. You could have put anybody else in that role, and I don't think it would have been like one of those holy crap, it's him moments. And he's having fun. He's joining the franchise at a fun moment, and I kind of like that for him. But then you get Tara Reid returning as April Wexler. Now, if you watch Sharknado 3, you know that at the end, she got crushed at the end of the film. Now, apparently, they had this whole internet thing where it's like, hashtag April lives or hashtag April dies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see the franchise going on
without her. I mean, they were probably going to bring her back anyways. It doesn't really matter. But it's kind of like that. And now I'm going to draw this comparable here. It's kind of like what they did with Batman. And I think it was like the Death in the Family one where the Joker is beating up Robin with a crowbar. And the last panel you see is the explosion, and Batman holds up Robin's body. And it was there were 1-800 numbers, and there was one number and Robin lives. There was one number and Robin dies. And the public decided on the fate of Robin. And Robin died.
Oh.
April lived. She's back here. Half person, half cyborg. And I like her better in this than I did in Sharknado 3.
Yes. I mean, again, it just keeps getting better and better and better, but I love that she came back. I love that, it's like no time had passed and there was really no hurt feelings. I mean, even when Hasselhoff is like, he was kindly yelling at Gary Busey, he had every right to be really pissed, but he was really disappointed. It was still,
I mean, we all know that that's worse, but still.
Yeah, no, it was a good family moment.
I mean, this is, I think, the time when April finally gets into the action, because the first film, she had to be rescued, right, by Finn and Nova. And, you felt the tension. You felt the tension in the first one. But April really didn't do much in the first one. The second one, they're off to New York. She wrote the book while he did all the saving. And let's be honest here, dear listeners. I'm going to say something here. And you're going to shake your head because I've already said a bunch of things that have probably broken the internet already. But I'm going to put this out here. When you take a look at the trinity that is Finn, April, and Nova, who is not in this film, but follow me along here. Finn is frickin' Harry Potter. April is Ron. Nova is Hermione. Nothing gets done without Hermione in Harry Potter. But yet Harry gets all the glory. Finn gets glory. April gets glory for the book. Nova does all the heavy lifting when it comes to fighting the sharks.
Not in this one, though. They
not,
had
not in
the
this
cousin.
one, though. But the other thing, though, is that this is where April finally gets to do things. Partly because she's like got rocket feet and lasers coming out of her hands now, because why not? But now you've made April meaningful in the shark fighting. And I think it's about damn time. Because prior to this, April felt like, oh, the sharks are here, honey. Why don't you go sit over there? Finny's got work to do. No. April's got work to do now. Finn, you go sitting there and with your chainsaw arm mech suit kind of thing. And
because she's like Bionic Woman now.
She is the Bionic Woman. And I love the fact that they have her do like Terminator lines, because why not?
Because they just had to, yeah.
But that's the thing. You took April, a character who was sidelined for almost the first 3 films, and now you finally made her badass. And I think it came at the perfect time. And I'm not saying anything against the character of Gemini, but you do it at a time when Nova's not in the film.
Do you know what I really liked, though? Is how the dynamic with the little guy.
Yes.
You know, at first he was kind of like really standoffish. Like, this is, you know.
He doesn't know his mom because she was crushed when he was born out of a shark. And like when he's doing like the family picture and he's drawing a picture of a shark, he's like, that's mom. Mommy's the shark. And you have to think that, you know, in that young 5-year-old mind, that character is probably not inaccurate. But then he goes over Niagara Falls in a barrel and April's got to come in and save the day with her rocket boots. And I can't believe these sentences are coming into my mouth, but here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are in the middle of, you know, a Sharknado 4 movie run. And but I like what Little Gil brought to April's character, right? It solidified that connection. And you know, the family dynamic is there. You had that cool moment where all the shepherds are walking armed and ready to go. The family is complete.
And I love the little chainsaw.
No, you're right.
The Fisher Price chainsaw.
Exactly.
So
I'm
great.
a shepherd. Okay, there's one more we need to talk about in this film. And that's Tommy Davidson, who played Aston Reynolds, the head of Astro X. Your thoughts?
I thought he was great. Oh, I really liked him. I thought he was super cool evil.
Did you?
And good and evil and bad. And you know what?
Did we watch the same film?
I kind of like how he was like almost trying to manipulate Finn, even though Finn, we know that he's been here before, he's fought the sharks, and he will again, you know, like, but he tried to manipulate him and use him, and Finn wasn't having it. Like, I love that even though, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I liked him.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
All right. At first, I liked him because we know that the Sharknado franchise borrows from a lot of different properties because, I mean, it is sort of in a way its own little version of parody. So looking at the character of Aston Reynolds, I was getting some heavy Miles Dyson vibes from Terminator 2, who of course was the head of Cyberdyne Systems and the reason why Skynet kind of went all kablooey and, you know, started a war with mankind. I was getting those vibes early on, and I'm with you for the first half of the film. And then he decides to jump out of a plane in a squirrel suit going, caw, caw, noise like, the f*** are you doing? You took a character that had like some menace to him, and you were creating almost a villain character, which is something that the Sharknado films didn't really have up to that point. There was no villain character. The villain was the Sharknado, right? Aston Reynolds, because there's parts like, what have I done? Like, well, I don't know. What did you do, Aston? Like, all of a sudden there's a plot there. There's something there. I wanted him to continue to be like he was in the first half of the film. And then you turn him into an absolute joke. Like, even the little mid-credit scene where it's like, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. King Kong, shut up. I get that we're talking a Sharknado film. I do. I understand that we're not being serious here at all. We're talking about Sharknado films for 4 movies straight. But you had a good character for half to 3/4 of a film. And I was even fine that moment where he's trying to get Finn to, go on camera and say that everything's okay. And then he turns out like, no. You go back over to your world. Like, okay, get a little big for your britches there, Aston, but okay. And then it just gets stupid. Where does this false machismo come from where you're hanging out in a squirrel suit going, ah, like, why? What animal makes that noise and why do you think you're it? And then you land, you turn your little pseudo carburetor on, flick the fake button, and then go down Niagara Falls, and you still lived somehow.
Suspend all expectations and just have fun with it.
I just want consistency in a character.
Well, I mean, he was, at the top of his game. And I mean, for 5 years, he literally thought that he
had
eradicated the world of sharks. And
no, not of sharks, of just Sharknados.
The Sharknado, yes.
Right? So apparently it's safe to have a shark-themed hotel now in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he was really riding on that, wasn't he?
But here was the possibility, and bear with me here, and maybe I'm kind of mentally rewriting Sharknado, but bear with me here. He has the audacity to create a shark-themed hotel because he's somehow been able to stop Sharknados from happening for 5 years. If you had shown him a bit more big pimpin' in Las Vegas kind of personality, then the ending makes sense. But you don't. He's serious. Like he's not the party guy. He's not that full of his britches for the first half of the film. He's not. He's still the head of SpaceX, confident in what they did, but not going caca in a squirrel suit out of a plane.
Well, again, if
it wasn't even caca, it was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Again, what animal do you think you are?
If you think that you've won and then realize that nope, the problem's still there, then I don't know. I would imagine you go a little cuckoo, caca.
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I'm sorry. And again, I recognize we're talking about Sharknado 4. Number 4, the 4th film in this franchise. I wanted what made the character good, and I want to take out what made the character not good. But of course, we are talking about a Sharknado film, which means there are a plethora of cameos. So, Carrie, I'm going to toss this to you before we get to our MVP. Favorite cameo of the film?
This is my absolute. I've been waiting all week for this. So I have 2.
Okay.
And for very different reasons. First of all, in Vegas, you've got to think Carrot Top is around somewhere. And the fact that he's now drunk driving a cab.
Which is why we never go to Vegas, by the way.
On the Vegas Strip. I mean, you just knew. You knew he was going to probably be the first to get the shark. However, my second honorable mention is I loved that Corey Taylor made an appearance, and
also,
B,
how does that happen?
that I know, but that they gave him enough respect that he didn't get sharked.
Corey Taylor can return.
That's right. I mean, Corey Taylor would probably kick the MF's shark's ass, but you know. You mentioned Steve Guttenberg, though.
Yeah.
What did I miss him? What was he?
Okay, so there's this scene where they go to get a car. It's a red car that looks a lot like Christine from the Stephen King film. The guy who gave him the car, lent him the car, is Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. I literally...
Also, Christine from the Stephen King film is in this freaking movie.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, everything is in here. I take a look at this list of cameos, and there's a lot. But there's two for me. The first, and I can't even really say it's a cameo because he's in a lot of the Sharknado films. It's Al Roker. No one leans into expositional news footage like Al Roker. He just has so much fun with it.
Oh, so true.
Right?
Okay, absolutely love.
Like all those NBC Today type segments, Al Roker is literally just tip of the hat, sir. Tip of the hat. And I mean, maybe it's because I have this secret desire. This burning secret desire.
He's about to spill it.
That's right.
Share the secret.
I'm about to tell the world. So by the way, dear people at the asylum, if you're listening, if you ever want to make a man's dream come true, this is where you can step in. I have always wanted to play that expositional type news reporter or news anchor in any kind of film. Doesn't matter if the film was good. Doesn't matter if the film was bad. I don't care. I want to be that guy on the desk looking at the camera going, well, the monster seems to have gone down Main Street and is now terrorizing the northern part of the city. It's just, for some reason whatsoever, just to be that expositional news anchor. I want that moment to happen. I would, you don't even have to pay me. Like, just bring me to your studio and I will read whatever is on the teleprompter.
I have a feeling a lot of the cameos are like that. Like, you don't even have to pay me.
Right?
Just, I want in.
Well, that's the thing. I have a feeling Sharknado was kind of like that. It's like, what? There's a Sharknado film happening? Get me in. You know, like, but that's a dream. That's a dream. I just want that one little on-screen cameo of be a news anchor, drop a little bit of exposition dump, and then call it a day.
You mentioned two cameos. And before I rain on your parade and mention just one more that I forgot.
Okay.
Who you got?
Well, speaking of expositional reporters, Gilbert Gottfried. Absolutely freaking love the late, great Gilbert Gottfried. The fact that he's sitting there screaming at the camera and apparently just driving around town, don't know which town because it's just a van during the day. It's now a Boulder-nado. Like, oh, dear God, Gilbert Gottfried, you are so perfect for this franchise. I love it. I love every minute of it. All right, toss in your last one there.
You forgot to mention Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh my God, that's right. Dog the Bounty Hunter's in this.
You know what? The whole week I'm like, don't forget to mention Dog.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Because, you know, what he's doing, selling
chainsaws. Because what else would Dog the Bounty Hunter be doing in this film? Because holy crap, it's Dog the freaking Bounty Hunter. I mean, like, Vince Neil was funny to watch. Dr. Drew, like, being the priest on the plane marrying Matt and his fiance. Like, there's a lot, and there's a lot that I missed. Like, I didn't see Daniel Logan, who played Jango Fett in, the young Boba Fett in Star Wars Attack of the Clones. He was in this. So, yeah. Whew. That's kind of half the fun of the Sharknado franchise. Just watching and then going back and reading all the cameos and then going to watch again, see if you can spot them all. It's like the Where's Waldo version of Sharknado.
Oh my God, it's so true. It's so true.
Now I feel like now we need to have like a Where's Waldo but Sharknado kind of book. If you can find you find Finn in this picture? Can you find April in this picture? Why didn't they make this? Just printing people money here and they don't take the ideas. Okay, Gary, who is your MVP of Sharknado 4, The Force Awakens?
You know what? I think you said it all right off the top of the show. I have to give props to Ian Ziering. Like again, 4 was my favorite of all the Sharknado movies. And it's because of Finn and just having so much fun, like accepting everything and conquering every shark attack definitely goes to Finn.
When you're right, you're right. And dear wifey, you are right. Finn Shepard is the motor that drives the boat that is Sharknado. Ian Ziering is absolutely my MVP for this film. And now we have to have two more Sharknado films to go. Are you ready for this?
Bring it on.
All right. Dear listeners, I hope you are ready because, the next 2 weeks, we got 2 more to go. But until those episodes, well, you guys know the drill. If there's a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned or is just so bad that there is no way in a Boulder-nado that we can find anything good to say about it, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadCast or go to our website at NotThatBadCast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our music show, There Can Only Be One. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is It's Not That Bad, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.